Dona Amelia. Welcome to the Star Coach Show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So excited to have you here. Um, I want the audience to kind of understand all the dynamic work that you're doing in the world. We probably can't do all the dynamic work, but highlight some of the things just for them to get to know you. Of course, we're going to have links about you and more information about you in the show notes. If you're watching this on YouTube, it's going to be right below us. If you're listening on the many platforms that we're on, be sure to check out the show notes. One of the things that really drew me to you and your profile when people reached out to have you be on the show was your journey, the journey that you have been on through life. What I find with the thousands of coaches that I work with is that we all have our own unique journey. None of us woke up as an infant and was like, I'm a coach. I mean, we usually have gone through many different things.
Definitely. Yeah.
And you've gone from this small village in Indonesia to really shaping your life through so many different things: actress, singer, TV presenter, DJ, and this co-founder of EGN in Singapore. That we're going to talk about what EGN is. That's really kind of a key thing that we're going to focus on in the platform that you've created for leaders to be the best they can be, to give them a resource that both supports and challenges them. That really lights me up. One of the things that I wanted to kind of congratulate you on, because as coaches, I think that we don't always leverage the social platforms that are available to us. And you have been recognized as a LinkedIn top voice and received the Asia Empowerment Connector Award in 2024. How cool is that? That is so cool. That means to me that you're using the networks that are available to us to connect. I mean, like, connector is one of my top strengths. Um, and I believe that when we connect, when we engage, when we learn about one another, it's what makes us great, right? And it's what makes us help others be great. That's why I do the podcast. That's why I'm super excited to introduce you to my audience today. And in
Fantastic.
our journey today, we're going to be talking about your journey, because I think that's so vital. And then what you have done to provide ways for leaders to be the best leaders they can be, and through connection, through being able to be vulnerable, being able to explore. Oh, just so I was so pumped up and excited when we talked earlier about what you do. So with no further ado, let me just kind of roll into you and your greatness. um, do you mind sharing a little bit about what journey have you walked to get to where you are today?
Thank you so much. It's an honor for me to be here. And I think what you do is amazing, giving this information, wisdom to everyone, especially your listener. So, yeah, I'm Dona Amelia, originally from Indonesia. I am a singer, actress, TV presenter, DJ, and then also recently just finished coach school, level 1 and level 2. I am
That's
also
so
the
good.
co-founder. That's why I'm so happy to be here. I'm like, oh God, I love coaches. It's like change life and transform life and all, and really, really like align with my principle in life. I love to make people happy. I want to help others and all. And I'm also a co-founder of EGN in Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia. Indeed, what we do at EGN is to help leaders to be a better leaders. We make each other better, and we gather all leaders to come together. No competitor. They come to talk about their challenges, and as you just said as well, we want them to be vulnerable, because somehow leaders also are lonely at the top and they still need someone to talk to. Of course, not to anybody. So that's why you need to have this kind of platform that can make you able to be vulnerable, yet in the safe environment, and can get like the advice that you really need, because you only talk with your peers. Before we go on into that, a little
Yeah.
bit about
Before we
my
go deeper into that, let's
yeah,
share a little bit, because I want to also get like what led you to even think about
yeah,
this platform and those kinds of things. But
yeah.
let's start with your journey.
Yes, definitely. So I was born in small little village in Indonesia. My dad just graduated from university, about to be a teacher. My mom just graduated from senior high school. We are living in a very, very humble life. I was grew up in the bamboo house. We don't have any electricity. I need to fetch the clean water from outside. My house is, I mean, the floor is the dirt floor and all. But those kind of experience make me who I am today. That I saw my
Mhm.
mom and dad working very hard. Although back then, in Indonesia, to be a teacher, really, 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 really low salary.
Oh,
Hence, my mom also, yeah, helped to also, like making some fishbowl or something, try to sell something in the market and all. So I see, like, my parent is really working hard, right? Although my grandfather is actually like the tribe, the chief of the tribe, but my dad really wanna really stand on his own foot. So since I was a child, I really wanted to help my parents. So I already know that my North Star is to make my parents happy, to bring them from the poverty to have a better life. So, and then I love to make them happy. I love to help my family and all. And then, yeah, my dad found my talent in singing. So since I was in the senior high school, I already sing and all. And by 2007, I already made my own album in Indonesia. The producer found me and all. And then, yeah, I work night and day studying in the university and singing all over Indonesia and Asia. And after university, I go into more in the showbiz. So I also becoming an actress. I do movie series, lots of it, almost every day. And also I do a TV presenter. And one of my TV program won 8-time Panasonic Go Bell Awards. So people who not working, they see me every day on TV, 11 a.m. talking about gossip. Like,
but what I'm hearing is that you found what lit you up in each thing, and you were successful in everything that you were like exploring, yet you continue to kind of expand into different areas.
yeah, yeah, kind of indeed. Because, to me, really working hard is really my core. I see my parents do that, and I know that, it's really important for me to work really hard because I wanted to give them a better life. So
Mhm.
that's what led me to whatever I do in life. I really wanted to do the best, and then also I wanted to give value to others, and I want to make people happy through whatever I do in life. So if I'm doing acting, singing, TV presenting, whatever it is, I want to give some people happiness, right, in whatever I do. And then forward to when I was meeting my current husband, he took me to holiday, and then until now I didn't come back to Indonesia, almost 10 years. but he took me to Vietnam back then, and then I was thinking like, okay, no problem. I always love to learn something new and all, right? So I
Mhm.
thought, oh, I can still do the singing, acting, TV presenting and all. And guess what? It's not easy because the language is really hard. So I
Ah.
can't do the TV presenting and
Now,
acting
what
and
is
all.
the 15%ing? Am I getting you wrong? Because I get the acting and the singing. What's the other thing that you said that you do?
TV presenting. I mean, a TV host, becoming a TV presenter. I mean.
Oh, TV presenting. Thank you very much. I'm sorry. I was missing that. And I was like, is she saying 50 or you were saying TV presenting? Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's really hard because I can't really speak the language with the tone and all. But then, yeah, again, I saw the opportunity of doing something else, which is okay. What I do when I go international, I need to do something that is really can relate to people, yet can also leverage my ability, which is I do singing, and then I introduce myself to being a DJ as well, and also because
So
my
smart.
husband. Yeah, and then my husband is already involved with EGN in Vietnam. So then I already introduced to EGN. And when I met the people, the members of EGN, I fall in love immediately because one, all the leaders who join EGN are, of course, not only that they are C-suite level, but they are very humble. They're very kind. They love to learn from one another, although in that position, right? And then also they love to share. they're not really stingy in really giving advice and all. Coming from Indonesia, where competition is really high, in my opinion, when I see what EGN does, Executive Global Network, oh wow, in this platform is different. Like leaders come together to discuss, to help each other, to share their best practices, even sharing their values, so that everyone can learn from each other and then grow together. And then you know what? I know that EGN was already founded in Denmark in 1992. I was thinking, coming from Indonesia, of course, third world country, I'm thinking, no wonder this Western community way ahead of us. And in Indonesia, no, we don't have any peer network like that. Until then, I moved to Singapore in 2018. We only have 214 members, but now we have almost 1,000 members, and we open EGN in Singapore, Indonesia, and also Malaysia. And we are the
Wow.
first peer network in Indonesia, because I feel like, this is my obligation, this is my contribution to my country, to be able to introduce to all the leaders in Indonesia that, hey, enough of the competition. We need to have
You want them
abundant
to
mind.
shift a little bit. You
Yes,
shift their
correct.
mindset.
Correct. So it's not competing, but collaborate and learn from each other. Not only learn from within their communities and within the EGN network, but with EGN, because we exist in 15 countries, they can also learn from what leaders in Europe or something, how do they do their business and all. Because to be honest with you, I believe as a leader, your challenges will be more or less the same, right? However, how
Right.
you tackle or handle those challenges, that's what matters. And when you come to this like peer network in the safe environment, you can really learn how you handle those challenges, right? So
Love
that's what
that.
made me love to involve with EGN, and yeah, do the transition from the entertainment industry to be an entrepreneur, basically.
So now that you're an entrepreneur, I just want to highlight a couple of the things that you said, because there was so much great information in that, and I can tell how excited you get about it, and also that you see it very clearly. So I want to be sure that the audience sees it very clearly. So EGN is Executive Global Network.
Yes.
It is is in all these different countries. And the way that you sort of were introduced to it was through your husband,
Yes.
because he was already involved in it. What you have seen is that this global peer network, which is basically what it is, it brings executives
Yep.
together in
Yep.
a peer group, a
Yep.
non-competitive,
Yes.
collaborative platform. And in Indonesia, where everybody is so competitive, it was kind of a like, whoa, to you to see like that this collaborative network of people coming together to support one another, to share ideas. But also, one of the things that we shared in our pre-interview was that when you're at a certain level, it's really difficult to share your concerns, your struggles, your fears in your organization, because people are looking up to you as being the leader. They're looking up to you as being the person with answers. So what you have found through this executive global network is that people can come together in safety and trust and share with people at a similar level, but what shared at EGN stays in EGN. It's a safe place to be able to do that. And what I loved and why I wanted you to come and share this experience with the audience is that so many of the coaches listening work with leaders at that C-suite or at that, and are in a place of maybe their coach is their trusted advisor, and that's great. And what I love about what you've created is that they can talk with an executive or another CEO in an organization. Is it cross country, or is it like, do countries stay together, or do you have leaders from different countries in groups together? Does that make sense?
Definitely. Thanks for the question. So yes, basically indeed spot on what you just mentioned. So at EGN, we have every chapter in every countries. Basically, indeed, they will come together every second month for 4 hours. And then indeed, the idea of EGN is we understand leaders are lonely at the top. Right, as you mentioned, they might, people really depend on them. They need to always have a good decision in no time, always to be Miss and Mr. knowing
Have
everything,
their
need to
game
look
face on all the time.
yeah, need to look always tough, need to always look good. But you know what? We are all human, right? We need to be able to be vulnerable, to tell people that, oh, how I hate my job this month. Oh my God, blah, 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 blah. I mean, even as a leader, you are actually okay to be able to feel that. It's all right to say that. But again, where you say it, of course, with whom,
And to
then
whom?
that's the
Yeah.
most, to who, that's the most important. So indeed, as mentioned also, I love, being a coach and working with all the coaches, because indeed the coach also give them that, right? Like this kind of safe feeling, safe environment. They can be vulnerable and so on and so forth, which is fantastic in one-on-one basis. What EGN complement this is that now in one group, they will be together with the leaders within similar seniority. So if it is CEO, all CEOs or all managing directors and all, and from different industry. We would love to have as many industry as possible, because then when they talk about their challenges, if you tell me your challenge, perhaps I've been there, I can tell you, hey darling, don't go that way. Oh my God, you're gonna spend a lot of money, spend a lot of time, blah 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 blah. Learn from my mistake. This is what works. Maybe you can consider, you see. So you learn
Right.
from real life scenario. It's not from theory and so on that's not been tested. And I think that's very, very important. As a leader, you have those kind of support system that can really leverage how you make a decision in your organization and all. So I think having a coach is great, wonderful, right? So then you can have a safe platform to talk about yourself, personal life, and so on, and also have this kind of like network like EGN or any other organization that can make you able to be vulnerable, to be able to be yourself, to be able to really talk about your challenges, because maybe you cannot as a CEO talk to your manager or whatever it is, right, about your challenge and all, because maybe different kind of frequency, different
Right.
challenges, different mindset, or maybe because of confidentiality. But then with
Mm-hmm.
this kind of platform, really leaders can be themselves. Yeah, I can tell you many stories that what I love about this kind of support system. So for example, we have one leaders um, uh, from agro culture, and then in every single meeting, all the facilitator, normally they will ask, okay, it's a gratitude moment. What are you grateful for this week? One leaders come that say, I'm so happy my CEO get out. I'm like, and
My
everyone will
CEO
okay,
gets dumped. Is that what you said?
kicked out, meaning that,
Kicked out. Yeah. Yeah.
yes, because we are in Singapore, right? And he's the managing director, something like that. And he's like, blah, 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 blah. Like really telling all in his heart, like, I'm so pissed off. I thought he backed me up, but actually he stabbed me at the back, blah, blah, blah. He thinks he knows Asia. He's from Europe and blah, blah, blah. And everyone just laugh and like, okay, good for you.
So
You
his
see?
gratitude was that he lost his leader, that CEO is
Yeah,
out the door. And you
yeah.
know what? How authentic, and can he really be that authentic in his organization? Probably not, but he can bring it to his
Yes.
peer group.
Yes, that's what I mean. You should, as a leader, you should be able to be yourself. It's not about right or wrong, but it's about being vulnerable, being able to
Right.
share your challenges. And it's not easy, trust me, because number one person in the company and all, you always need to taking care of your image and so on and so forth, right? But then this platform made you able to be yourself. However, to the point that if you have any challenge, you can get some insight. So, for example, another story is like this. We do have many groups, right? If it is CEO, all CEOs, and if it is marketing leaders, it's all marketing leaders. So, in one of the marketing leaders meeting, one person come to talk about her challenge. So, basically, she wanted to do the exit, right? So, she wanted to sell her company and all, but then she's, in the crossroads. Should I sell? Should I not? Because I'm attached with it, those kind of feeling. But
Mm-hmm.
then when she talk about this in front of people, and then we facilitate this, it's like a group coaching kind of. So all
Yeah, we're
the
going to talk
other
about
leaders,
how you set them up in a minute. But so
right?
it's being facilitated, and she's in this ambivalence about change, which often we are. I
Mm,
want to,
mm,
and she's
mm.
bringing this to the group.
Right, correct. And then, of course, what the group normally do is that first she will talk about her challenges, right? And then we facilitate one or two or three, sometimes 10 other leaders asking her to clarify and so on. But we not allow them to give some suggestion immediately. What we do after that is that we put all the leaders in the room into the small group discussion, and they need to think the best solution to this challenge that, for example, I have, if I'm the one who presents, right? And then the last 15 minutes or so, each table will give me some suggestion. And guess what?
Ah,
From all those tables, because they already brainstorm, and remember, it's confidential, they're coming from different
right,
industries and all, I will be surprised to get so many wisdom that I don't think
right.
about it, because they see it from different lenses. And that lady turns out that, oh, okay, then I can sell my company like much more than what my asking price, because now she get all the data that made her able to come back to the buyer. Hey, actually, you know what? This is my value. Boom. That is one
Excellent.
thing. Yeah,
Love
that's
that.
that's
So let's lean into that one for just a second, because I love,
mm,
so she comes with this challenge that she's
yeah,
ambivalent about. So in your group, you have a
yeah,
facilitator, you have somebody who's not one of the leaders who's facilitating the
yeah,
discussion, correct?
yeah,
And
correct.
then a member or a participant brings a challenge. Here's my challenge. I'm thinking
Yeah,
about selling. Do I want to? Do I not want to? And
yeah,
what I love about what you said, so once that's presented,
yeah.
people can ask questions for clarification, but not to solve, for
No,
clarification, which I love.
yeah,
And then they break into small groups and
yeah,
discuss the situation and
yeah.
then offer suggestions back.
Yes, correct.
How powerful is that? And
I can
then
tell you, it's very powerful indeed.
because how many times do we get so stuck in the weeds of our details and or undervaluing ourselves or all the different things that this group brought her such value.
Definitely, 100%. And you know what? We call this exercise advisory board or hot seat. But
The
when we talk
advisory
about,
board hot seat,
yes,
love it.
yes. But sometimes when we talk about hot seat, it's a bit terrifying. So we love to say we call it advisory board. We get advice from all the leaders. And trust me, I witnessed many good session about this. Let me tell you, if you don't mind, one more story. For example,
Yes.
so this lady from sales leaders, she just moved to Singapore for a year, and then she met her ex-boss in Singapore. And then the ex-boss say to her, "Hey, what are you doing with your company, your current company? Why don't you come with me back? We're gonna go to, good old days, having a great glory and blah 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 blah." So again, she's in the crossroad. She's like, "Oh dear, should I go back to him?" Because she really knows that this leader is really good when she's back in India and so on and so forth. So again, she put herself, she's being vulnerable, she's open about this challenge that she might not able to, of course, talk to the colleague, right, in her
Right. It's not like she
organization.
can go to her current boss and say, "Hey, I got this other offer. Do you think I should take
Of
it?"
course,
I mean, yeah, that's not
yeah.
an option.
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes you're not even able to talk to your family because maybe some attachment there, right?
Right.
So then what happened is that, long story short, with the similar kind of simulation, right, the agenda, so the decision was like from everyone, right? That, I mean, the suggestion that suggested to her is that for her to go back to the ex-boss, right? It's a big decision. And of course, at the end of the day, it's up to her if she want to take it or not.
Right.
Now,
Right.
she took it, and now she's super happy. She's super successful. We even do some EGN meeting with. She invited all her bosses from from the UK and all. We invite 61 senior executive, and she testified. She said like this: "I do wanted to thank to EGN, because if I'm not being vulnerable back then, I will not able to make a decision that led me to where I am now."
So
Basically.
cool.
So it's beautiful to see that, just when you be able to be yourself, be vulnerable, be open, right? Dare to do that. You might get some help, tremendous help from your peers. That's what I want to say. And
Oh,
a lot more stories I can tell you a lot because I
I
witnessed this
bet.
beautiful transformation.
I love the stories that you chose because I
Mm,
think that what's happening is that listeners are starting to hear the power of giving a platform for people to share. Because I'm sorry, change, any kind of change creates ambivalent. I mean, like, even if it's a great change, we're still like, but what if, and all the things that happen. And to your point, we might not be able to share that in our current environment. We might not be
yeah,
able to share that with family and get the same kind of response that we could get from a group of like peers,
yeah,
not in the
like-minded
doing the
people.
exact same things, but in similar status or responsibility, and listening. All now, are they all going to be listening through their lenses? Yeah, but then they're going to put their minds together and give you feedback that, to your point, she could take or not take. But what a weight off the shoulders to be able to share that. So what I'd love to ask you is if we can shift the focus a little bit to, what's it like to facilitate one of these coming together of minds?
Oh wow, I can tell you. That's why again, what I love about EGN is because it reminds me of story of my grandma when I was a child with the difficulties and all, right? So I grew up with my grandma because my grandma thought that okay, my mom and dad too poor to raise me, and then my grandma also not that much better, but anyhow, he told me like this, and this is what I remember my whole life. Dona, if you go play with your friends and all, and maybe back then I was like 4 or 5, if you see anyone eating chocolate or eating candy and all, do not ask them. You come back to grandma and ask me. If I have the money, I will give it to you. If I have this, I will give it to you. But if it is not, please still be happy because God loves you. You have a health, you're beautiful, everyone loves you and all. Okay, so don't be sad. Instead, and this is the most important thing, you need to be the one who always give. And of course, as a kid, give, what should I give? I have nothing. And then my grandma told me, you can give your smile, your kindness, so that's maybe what makes me having this north star of wanting to make people happy, starting to make my family happy, my parents happy through and then through all the things that I do in life, I love to make people happy. Now, these are also the things that I brought with EGN. And when you facilitate this and with this in mind, to make people happy, to serve them, to give them the best, environment for leaders to be vulnerable, to be themselves. Also, we inviting all the great speakers, so then they can also always be on top of the trend and in their industry and all. So it's beautiful. It makes me content. Let's put it that way, because it's
Yeah.
so aligned. When you content, when you really love what you do, and just to serve them. And coming from the entertainment industry, I really know how to greet people. I know to really how to make people happy and all. And it's coming from my heart. And now I'm just feeling so blessed that back then my life is make people happy in general. Now it's more specific to the leaders. And
Right.
I feel like it's a blessing for me to be able to contribute. If only a leaders can be a better leaders, and then this leader can make a good decision that can make the company more prosper. My end goal is that that company can make everyone, all the employees prosper. That's what I want,
I
especially
love
for
that.
those leaders in Indonesia. So I get the full, happiness. I'm content and I'm very, very grateful to be able to facilitate this kind of environment.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it. So you mentioned the fact that some of the groups might be this advisory board. And then you mentioned that sometimes you bring in expert speakers to give information to grow learning and
Yeah.
experience. What else might be offered in these environments that help these peer networks be strong?
So basically, indeed, in those 4 hours meeting, normally the first 2 hours we will talk about member challenges, which is in the advisory board and so on. Actually, we also have one more what we call a wise crowd. I can tell you how we do it also later on, because probably it can be some inspiration also. But then after those member challenge session, we have the break. Now the next 2 hours, then we will always have a discussion with the speaker or any of the topic of the day discussion. The purpose is that indeed we want all the leaders to be able to discuss about the trending topic or certain topic that they are really wanted to learn, or maybe that is really a challenge at the moment, or hot topics and so on and so forth. But at the same time, we want them to be able to share their challenges and all as well. So it's really holistic, right? And
Yes.
then, yes, and to answer your previous question, can they also basically network with people from the other countries, for example? Yes, in a certain way, meaning that we do have what we call cross-functional events on Zoom normally. For example, we invite you as the speaker, and then we invite everyone in the whole EGN network to come, and then you can have some presentation, webinar, and so on and so forth. And yeah, all the leaders can always connect with one another. And the beautiful thing is that and one thing that I'm proud of and maybe made us a little bit different with other organizations is not only about the knowledge sharing, right? And also the depth of the discussion and also the network. But we are the second largest peer network in the world who are not allowed selling. And that's the beauty of it. So as a leader, you come to EGN, you know that no one gonna call you the next day and tell you all their services and We're not allowed to do that. However, of
That's
course,
awesome. Mm-hmm.
yeah, however, of course, we want them to be close to one another. Like now, I know what you do. And of course, if I have the needs, normally, why should I go to someone else? They will trust
Mm-hmm.
another EGN
Mm-hmm.
members first to go to, right? But not because I'm telling you, hey, use my services and so on and so forth. No,
Right.
not at all. It's all
There's
about,
an opportunity for
yeah,
relationship building, and that's
absolutely.
really the core of any really awesome sales anyway, is like, let's build the relationship, and then if you know,
Correct.
like, and trust me, you might reach out to me.
Exactly, exactly. And how beautiful it is when you know that, this person is in my group. And then when I have challenge, he give all the wisdom and so on and so forth without thinking anything, but just wanted to help each other. And that's beautiful and really, really deep connection. And I hear many, many great stories about them making business to one another. Even they make a new company together, not one or two. I had many. And another beautiful story about this kind of having this kind of support group, right, in your life as a leader. I mean, back then in the COVID, I mean, we live in Singapore, small city state, and all. Of course, so many people get laid off in no time. Even you are C-suite, right? So then we have one story of one person, immediately calling us, then say like, "Oh my God, I'm so sad that I just get laid off." And then I only have 3 months and I have two kids in the international school. I don't know what to do. I don't even dare to, I'm not even there to talk to my wife yet. So we are the first one they call. And what we say is like this: "Thank you so much for sharing. We understand what your situation. And you know what? You've been with us for 2 years. You already built up this relationship, right? Now, again, go back to the vulnerability. Go talk to people. And then, yeah, be vulnerable. Tell people your story and all. And guess what? Thanks God, until now, he's very grateful and happy that another EGN members helped him to find another job. And until now, they still live in Singapore. No one need to go out. The kids still in the international school, the insurance, everything, all good. You see, that's the benefit of you build up really great, deep relationship with no intention of selling and blah, blah, blah. You never know when you need your network, right? But then when you need it, see, you can always harness when you need this kind
Yes,
of help. Mm.
love that. So there is something that you mentioned, that you do something else around challenges. You do the advisory board. What's the
And
other
wise
thing that you
crowd,
do around challenges?
wise crowd.
Tell us about that.
Okay, so in the wise crowd, actually, look, if in the events or the meeting, right? If I'm the one who present in the advisory board, I'll be very happy because all attention goes to Dona. I got all my problems solved, right? But what about you? right, Meg? Maybe you also have a challenge that, it's a burning challenge and that you also wanted to get help. So that's why we also facilitate what we call wise crowd. How we do it is that we normally put people in the group discussion of 3 people. Yeah. And then let's say we give 45 minutes. And then each person will have 15 minutes to talk about anything. It's their airtime. They can talk about their challenges, business ideas, anything, and then get feedback from the 3 of them. You see,
How good.
so everyone still have the the feeling that, okay, I'm heard, right? I have
Right.
the platform to be heard and also to get my problem solved. Of course, 45 minutes is not enough, 15 minutes is not enough. That's why we encourage them to just be vulnerable, able to open. And then, of course, you need to continue the conversation outside the meeting,
Right.
right? You need to keep on going to continue this conversation, so then you can get help, continuous help and accountability and so on and so forth. But the idea is for you to be able to be vulnerable, to open up, to know that somebody can listen to me, and it's not anybody, but it's the person, the people who've been there for
Right.
years and years and
Right.
years, right? And can
Love that.
tell me the do and don'ts, and they've been there, like with all the bitter things happening with their lives and their organization and all, and can give me some advice or insight. And that's what we do. So yeah, that's how we do the wise crowd. So everyone will get 15 minutes, and then yeah, they can continue the conversation afterwards.
What a great concept of the wise crowd. That is so good. So let me ask you this. You have mentioned several times the idea of vulnerability. We, as service providers, know how important that is. However, that's not necessarily going to be magnetic if I'm like talking to a leader about the value of my group and I say, you get to be vulnerable. I mean, it's not like, oh, sign me up for that. So there's a couple different things that you've said that we know the value of. And I just wonder how you get people to buy into buy into what you're offering, right? So a couple things that you've said that make me think, and I could be wrong, so this is an assumption, please correct me, that first of all, you meet for 4 hours. Did you say every other month or once a
Yeah, correct.
quarter? What did you say? Every other month.
Yes.
So this is what I'm hearing from, like, we have these 4-hour meetings every other month that give you the opportunity to be vulnerable and share. So let's talk about how you get leaders, big wig leaders, to say, yeah, I'm going to give up 4 hours every other, like their time is gold, right? I'm going to give the 4 hours, and I believe in the value that this is going to offer. So how does it land on you?
So for me, normally what I do when I facilitate and all, I think it starts with the leader itself, meaning that if I'm the facilitator, we are the one who need to facilitate this safe environment. We need to be the one who create this kind of environment where people understand, this is what we call vulnerability. Oh, okay, then this is a moment for me to be able to share my challenges and all. So what I do normally, I will come up with my story, like how challenges it is, my previous my childhood and so on, living in the poverty, and what a great lesson that I took when people look down on me, when people do this and that. My life is all about like a roller coaster, of course, coming from really a humble background, and then really working so hard in the showbiz and all. And people in the village in Indonesia don't understand, and people like, why you allow your daughter to be on TV wearing sexy things, move certain ways and all, for example, right? So I told them the story and all. So they feel like, oh, okay, I can relate to that, for example, right? And then, or for example, I come and then I told that, okay, this week I've been doing this, and sadly this is what happened. But then, yeah, this is what I do. And you need to create this vulnerability first. That's how in the meeting, then you can invite them to be vulnerable. Another way, what I do is always invite them to share their journey for 5 minutes or 15 minutes. We just want them to remember of one event, or not like the whole journey from the
Right.
beginning and all,
Right.
where you feel like, you feel down and all, and how did you get up from there and to be who you are now? So then the whole point is that It's not always a rah-rah about how good you are. Most
Right.
importantly is that we want to see that even a person like you, right? Great person like you know, been there, been into the, you know, like in the valley and really sad or whatever it is. But then we want to learn because look at you, who you are now and where you are now. We want to learn. So that is we call it the journey. We wanted to know where you began, your rock bottom, and then how you get up. So then we can learn from it. So yeah, and people
I
love
think
to
that's
tell
great.
story.
That's once they're sort of involved, once they're engaged. But how do you get people to say, yeah, sign me up? This is something I want to do,
Okay.
because it's such a, in some ways, it's such a, until they've experienced it, it's a bit of a leap getting people to sign up for it, is what I'm basically exploring.
Right. So, what my team normally do, and this is not my expertise, but I also discuss with them a lot about this. So, when we talk to the leaders and talk about this concept, is to ask them that, do you need any help? Do you need someone to talk to? Do you need to basically able to, you know, have a safe space for you to talk and discuss about your challenges to the people within your similar level, right? And then been there, then they can give you some suggestion and you can talk openly, honestly, and all. We need to go to their pain point first, right? Do
Mhm.
you have any challenge that are you working on now? Do you feel that, you know, sometimes in your life, in your career journey, you're feeling stuck and all, and you don't know where to go? Especially, for example, in Singapore, many of their headquarters is in the US or in Europe, and they're alone. They're number one person in Singapore, for example, right? So then who are they going to talk to? Because they're number one in their organization. So they need someone else from whichever industry in the similar level who they can resonate and talk about their
Mhm.
challenges and all. So that's when they understand what they need. That is one. Second, of course, the understanding that as a leader, we need to always improve and, you know, like take care of our personal development and also professional development, right? And they understand this. And where else you can get the wisdom from the people that been there? Again, it's not from the theory. You wanted to talk to people that already been there, feel all the bittersweet and so on and so forth. And that's the what you know, make them really understand the value of it. Because otherwise, you cannot really just talk to random people and asking their opinion. Or, for example, you talk to the CEO from the other company that you just know. Hey, how do you tackle these challenges? Blah blah blah. Excuse me, who are you? Right?
Yeah,
So
exactly, exactly. So you're
yeah,
basically you're presenting them with what the opportunity offers,
yeah,
and letting them see how what you offer will reduce the pain points that they have,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that it's well
basically.
worth this investment of time and
Mm,
investment of energy. And
yeah,
excellent. So, so good. Well, we could talk on and on. You're so much fun to spend time with, and I love your energy. Unfortunately, it's time to kind of wrap up. So I'm wondering, any remaining thoughts as we're closing out our time together?
first of all, I would love to say thank you for this opportunity. And I think what I want to close with is that, you know, as a human being, I think either in the business life or personal life, it's very important for us to be belong to the support network, or having someone or a group that you can trust, that you can be yourself, that you can, you know, ask for advice. And also having a coach, for example, it's wonderful, or mentor, or belong to the confidential peer group like EGN or any other organization that, you know, allows you to really leverage on your potential and enhance it, right? And can give you really advice that can make you a better person, a better leader, a better mother, or whoever it is basically you want it to be. So I think that's what I want to say.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. If you want more of what this lovely lady has to offer, be sure to check out the links either below this video for YouTube, or in the show notes for all of the other platforms. My conversation is going to continue with her in our Star Coach membership community. So if you want to know more about that, check it out at starcoachshow.com/community. Remember, the Star Coach Show is all about strategies, tools, and resources to communicate more deeply, to listen with more thoughtfulness, to help us all do the lifting together. So I hope you visit us each and every week at the Star Coach Show. And as we're closing out, this is Meg Rentschler thanking you for joining us. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and have an awesome week.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.